This video brought to you by StoryboardThat.com.
Welcome to episode 22 of the Principal Cast podcast, hosted by myself, Dr. Spike Cook, Jessica Johnson, and Teresa Stagger. We are coming to you live every week at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time on TeacherCast TV. Our topic tonight is professional conferences, how to learn when you can't attend. This weekly roundtable discussion goes through all types of activities, ideas, innovations, anything that has to do with furthering our understanding of education. There's many great ways to contact us. You can email us at info@principalcast or follow the hashtag principalcast. You can find both our audio and visual videos on iTunes. Tonight's topic is brought to you by StoryboardThat.com. Did you know that that's the world's best storyboard creator? And you can enjoy 25% off of any purchase today at StoryboardThat.com/teachercast. It is epic and amazing. But you know what else is epic and amazing? Our co-host, Jessica Johnson, who is the Wisconsin Elementary Principal Educator of the Year.
Yes! Congratulations!
Thank you.
And she didn't want me to do that, but I totally
I said
did
just
it.
don't make a big deal about it. I mean, we can mention it, but, you know, not a big deal. Like,
So we should let the streamers and the singing guy that's going to come and do the thing for you, the jingle guy, we should just let that go?
No,
Okay,
we can cancel.
but I wanted to do this for you because I just feel so inspired.
That's
by
because
you.
You're so much older than me.
That's
So
right.
inspired.
That's right. So, Jessica,
Spike.
Oh, no.
how are you, dear? I miss
I'm
you.
great, Grandpa Spike. Oh, dear. For
All right,
people
you're-
who can't see, who are just listening to this, he
Oh,
just had
yeah.
a big gray mustache on.
Yeah, Spike has
Hiding
some
the entertainment.
crazy props tonight.
That's
Oh,
right.
the chat room is going crazy, Jessica, for you. They're going crazy. Chris Nassi says it's a big deal.
It is a big deal.
Okay, yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
So we'll definitely get into that. And then, of
Yes.
course, there's Teresa, who is repping a real awesome shirt this week.
I don't know if you could see it. I have to get somewhere.
No, I can't see that.
Can you see my
Oh, nice!
I know, right? So let me tell you the story about the shirt really quick. I was at McCall this week, which is the Michigan Association for Computer Users and Learning, and I was helping. I was volunteering. I had the big sign that said, "Ask Me," and then all these people are walking by me, and they're wearing these Michigan Ed shirts, these Mich Ed hashtag shirts, and I was totally excited. And so Todd Block, who helps run the Michigan chat, was selling them. And so people were walking around the entire conference with the Mich Ed hashtag on, and I thought that was so awesome.
That is
so of course
awesome.
I got one, and I had to sport it today. And luckily, I was very bummed at the time that they didn't have any more blue and gold ones left. But then I used my brain and realized that Monday's St. Patrick's Day, so I can wear it to school. I know it's going to be perfect. I'm so excited, and I can do a little bit of Mich Ed exposure while I'm at school too. So.
Last year, Tom Whitford had created shirts for us in Wisconsin that had, I think the front said "Got PLN,"
Yes.
and then it's a Twitter thing, and then it had our own hashtag that we made up, the We Amigos, and it had some other hashtags on there. And I love wearing it around because people that aren't on Twitter are like, PLN? What's PLN? And what's that hashtag? Like, it's great advertising for some PD in the hallway.
Didn't you guys wear that to ASCD?
We did. We were all
2013,
wearing our
yeah.
shirts. That's how we found each other. It was awesome.
That's awesome.
Nice. Yeah,
Well,
they were.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Spike. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I'm wearing a shirt It says, "Ain't nobody got time for
I
dat,"
heard about that in last week's podcast that I missed.
and that is our that was our volleyball team that we had. So very excited about that.
Nice.
We've
nice.
also tweeted out the staff photo if you didn't get a chance to see it.
That was our team. We went 1 win and 2 losses. But, it was a double elimination tournament, so we did the best that we could. But we had fun, and it was a lot of fun.
Very cool.
Post party was much better than the game.
Isn't that usually the way it goes?
Yeah.
Or
And it was
should
all
be
for
the
a
way it
good
goes.
cause.
And what was the cause?
Athletic scholarships for our high school students.
Very good.
Yeah.
Definitely a good cause.
So, Teresa, tell us, I mean, what's been going on with you this week? I heard you were at McCall, and there's lots of stuff going on. Everybody's there.
Yeah, it was super cool. And I'm telling you, I know I had spoken about it last week, about how excited I was. I have to get out of the chat while I'm talking about this. Because they're just going on, and their conversation is hysterical, but it's going to throw me off. I was excited to go to McCall because this is the first time I could go as an administrator, and that was really exciting for me. But there were so many. This was like the first time that it was, you look at the conference, the book, and you're like, oh yeah, I could go to this, or I could go to this, or I could. But there's like 1 or 2, that are really great at every time. There were so many sessions and so many awesome people presenting. There just was not enough time. It was amazing. We had Todd Neslony, that's how you say his name, Neslony, was there from Texas. He came in and presented a ton of stuff on flipping the classroom, and he was amazing. Nick Provenzano was there, George Kuros was there, Dean Shersky was there. I mean, it was literally like...
Erin Klein?
Erin Klein was there. The amazing Erin Klein was there. I got to meet her. Spike, that was wonderful. Yes.
Love Erin Klein.
Yes. I mean, it was... The people that were presenting were unreal, and the sessions were amazing. It was really, really great. I went to a couple. I went to the ones that really stuck in my head, Todd Neslony's on flipped classrooms, and Nick Provenzano on the Genius Hour in 20 time, and they were just, I mean, everything we did was just amazing. Oh, they were so snotty. You guys are so snotty.
They are. They're telling Teresa not to laugh, and Joe started betting on how many minutes until I dropped my Wi-Fi.
And the betting was when I had to turn away. That was when I stopped it.
Oh, now it's down to 10, Joe.
Yeah, the over-under was at 20, and now it's dropping.
I feel like Joe's sorry isn't really a sorry.
No, it's not.
Peggy, it really was an awesome lineup. It was just, I mean, from top to bottom, an amazing conference. And it's one of those that Peggy says Erin Klein's going to be the featured teacher on Classroom 2.0 Live next Saturday.
Oh, nice.
Fantastic. So a lot of the people that we worked at McCall with, they got on a plane right from Michigan and went to LA for ASCD. So they're all kind of there now. But one of the funny things, which I'll share with you, is Todd Neslony came in from Texas. He's just outside of Houston. My brother, I had actually asked him where he was because my brother lives near Houston. And so there, my brother's on one side and he's on the other. But he came in and stayed with someone in Birmingham, which is just it's about 20 minutes north of us, or 20 miles north of us. And Todd was putting pictures on Facebook because the day that we were all supposed to travel to McCall, there was a huge snowstorm that came in. We had a snow day. It was like 11 inches of snow down here. It was completely ridiculous. And Todd puts up these pictures on Facebook that he is snow blowing the driveway of the guy that he's staying with. And so we got Todd. And then we got there and we were discussing it. And they said that they were teaching him the difference between wet snow and dry snow. And I think the three of us understand the difference between wet snow and dry snow. But for those of you who don't live in the north, there is a very wet snow that's very, very heavy. And when you get in it, or you're snowblowing it, or you're shoveling it, it's terrible to shovel, and it gets on you, and you're soaking wet. But there's a dry snow that falls, and it kind of coats you, but it doesn't really ever melt. And it It's bizarre how it works, but that's the dry snow. And so it was a dry snow, and they're trying to explain to him that it's okay, he's not going to get wet. And so he called his wife, and he was really excited because he learned the difference between a wet snow and a dry snow while he was in Michigan.
Teresa, I thought that was so funny. I was following the Voxes between you and Jeff, and you're like, I have this long drive, but we're probably going to get about like a foot of snow tonight, so I'm going to I'm just going to be delayed by a little bit, like an hour or two, and then I'll be on the road and I can talk to you. I'm like, oh,
Spike would have been boarded up all week. Sorry, Spike.
That's okay. I wouldn't have been able to shave. I would have been like this the whole week.
It's
wouldn't
crooked,
have been able to
crooked.
I wouldn't be able to go to McCall. So, Jessica, what's been going on in your life? I feel like I don't even know you anymore.
Oh, I know. You guys, I just listened to 2 full podcasts of you all that I totally missed. I feel totally out of the loop.
We missed you.
Do you feel like
I
you've
missed
been
you too.
dropped a little?
Yes. Can you hear me now?
Yes. So,
As long
what's
as
been
it
going
seems.
on? A lot of wrestling and...
A lot of wrestling, a lot of subbing for people. I've subbed for like every position, and I'm not even joking. I even subbed for the wrestling coach one night.
No.
Seriously, I know.
Did you wear a singlet?
No.
No, okay.
No. Yeah, so I can do anything, but at this point, I think. But the big news is that, yes, I was announced as the Wisconsin Elementary Principal of the Year, and that was a big surprise this week. Our superintendent had emailed out that there's going to be an all-school assembly, so elementary, middle, and high school. And we're all like, well, what is that going to be? Is it a retirement? Is it is the state superintendent come in here? Is Ellen DeGeneres come in here? Because one of my teachers keeps trying to get her here. So we get going to the assembly. My superintendent did say that I had to go because I told her I have a lot of work to catch up on. Do I really need to go to this? And as we're walking in, like the band is playing, which is really nice. And I sit down next to a teacher, and I'm with a student that I was helping get there. And I look over, and in the corner I see my husband. I'm like,
Oh.
Okay. Like, my husband doesn't come to school. So yeah. So the entire school board was there, and then the president of our state association was there, and he started talking and, asked, is Jessica Johnson here? And then, did his spiel. My superintendent spoke. The board president spoke. And then they gave me a chance to speak.
Oh, boy.
When they go for
And then the
Oscars,
microphone didn't work.
and then they dropped. What's not fair, when people go to the Oscars, like, they know there's a chance that they might be up there to have to speak, so they, like, prepare. No, I wasn't prepared at all. And following my superintendent, who is, like, she speaks more eloquently than anyone you will ever know. I think when I got up there, I said, my favorite color is purple, and that's why I work here.
That's great.
But I did say, but I didn't come just for the color. I stayed because I love everybody here, and who knows to God what else I said.
You literally had no idea, Jess.
I said my favorite color is purple. You think I would have planned that?
Oh, my God.
Good Lord.
They're good at keeping secrets over there.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's because they all live so far apart. It's easier.
So that's my
Oh,
news.
goodness.
I get to go to Washington, D.C. in October for the
Wow.
national.
Wow.
I'm not sure what that means, but.
Well,
Yeah,
Washington,
so that's my
DC,
news.
It's this place where the federal government is.
Thank you,
A lot of
Spike.
statues. And
No, for the National Distinguished Principals thing.
Now that's awesome.
Whatever.
Chris
Thank you,
Nessie says
Spike.
there has to be a video.
Oh my gosh, I hope there's not a video. Oh, and then both of my children, my superintendent brought my husband and my youngest child up, and then my second grader came and joined. And, as they're speaking, my 2 sons start, fighting with each other. I'm like, oh my God, there's 800 people looking at you. Stop! Oh.
I'm going to report from the chat room.
Yes.
Mr. Mealy asked, "Did you go too long and the band started playing to cut you off?"
No.
No,
Oh.
that is great.
All right,
Wow.
let's get over that business now.
Oh. All right, and who are your people to follow? No, that's right. We have a show to do.
Oh, that's right. We have a main topic.
That's right. Our main topic tonight is professional conferences, which is something that we've been talking about. How to learn when you can't attend. So it's funny, and I guess this came about because, as Teresa talked about, and she's talked about McCall, several times on the podcast, and was, super excited to go. I followed the hashtag to get a chance to learn what was going on there, and that's kind of why we wanted to do this, because basically it's not that you don't have to go to conferences, but if you can't, because you can't make everything, you get a chance to learn. But I guess my question to start out with would be for Teresa was, how was the hashtag, and the back channeling going when you were at the conference?
It was a little disappointing, I think, because there aren't as many people on Twitter as you would think, I guess. So there were some really good back channel chats going on. It was really good for people keeping notes, for people sending out links to presentations, for things like that, but there wasn't a ton that was happening. But it was good for things that you couldn't be at. So I don't know, not awesome. Maybe if there's anyone else in the chat room who was following along, but it kind of felt for a little while like the only people that were in the back chat were the people that were in the same room as me. If that makes sense.
You know what? I've had times where I am at conferences and it's like that, and there's no back channel, and then I just look at it as, you know what? It's my duty to tweet out the nuggets for anybody else to learn from because they're not here.
Yeah, and I couldn't tell. I couldn't tell that there wasn't, a strong back channel because, I also follow the same people. So, the Nerdy Teacher, Aaron, yourself, any of the people that were there, I follow them anyway. But I just think it's interesting because, it allows you to get into a world that you wouldn't have gotten into.
Right. Yeah, it really does. I mean, that's, I was talking to a lot of people when we were there, is, that's the way that we keep notes. I tweet out, quotes that people say, sites that they tweet out, any handouts, anything. And so that's the way that I can go back, is just search the hashtag and find it. Mm-hmm. But I felt like, there was a decent amount, but for the, 4,500 people were there.
Wow.
It was a huge conference. And for that amount of people, there weren't nearly as many tweets as I had wished that there would be. But on the other side of it, there were also probably 5 Twitter sessions on how to get started and why you should use it and what your PLN is about. But, like Todd Block was saying, he was doing a Spark session in the McCall booth that just to kind of, they do like these 10, 15-minute little quick sessions. And his thing says, he said, what people don't focus on when you're talking about Twitter is, yeah, you can jump on and you can get in and you can do this, but it takes a lot of work. Mm-hmm. You don't just, unless you're someone who is coming in and just watching the hashtag and taking in the information, it really takes a lot of time to get it going, because you can't just throw something out on Twitter and expect 1 million people to respond. You have to build the relationships. You have to learn about the hashtags. You have to know who your audience is. But so I think that that's part of the problem that we have with Twitter, is that we haven't pushed, we push the importance of it, but we haven't pushed the amount of time that you have to put into it.
You know what Peggy George just tweeted, and this makes a really good point. When you're at a conference and you are on Twitter, she said she loves getting the links and handout resources via Twitter, whether you're at home or you're in the conference. Like when you're at a conference, I'm always like, oh my gosh, should I go to this session or that session or that session? But still, if you're in session A, you can still get stuff from session B while Peggy's tweeting out from it, and that is just great to try and get everything you can.
Exactly.
And sometimes it's happened for me. Like I would say ASCD, and because we could talk about that happened, this weekend, and I think that you're talking 9,000 educators, and places like that and ISTE are going to have way more of a back channel.
Right.
But it also helps to kind of when you have to sift through all those sessions on what to go to, you start seeing like somebody who's connected and be like, join me at, I'll be in room 320 at at 5 o'clock for a session on this, that, and the other thing, and then you could follow them. Or I've actually been in boring sessions and have checked the feed and then see that if there's something else going on somewhere else, because you can vote with your feet, just get up and go to another session. And I'm sure that as more people get connected, that will become more prevalent. But I think right now when you look at the big conferences, it's really difficult to sift through all those workshops and decide what to attend.
Now, here's a question that I have. You're both familiar with Storify, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Where like you Storify the tweets after we use it after our scheduled chat on EduCoach. But so Teresa, when you said that you use Twitter as a way to check your notes from the conference later, with Storify, it seems like once you've Storified something, that they don't show up in the regular Twitter feed then if you put in that hashtag again. Is that just me noticing that, or is...
you know what? I don't know. I haven't gone back to check that. I did go through the McCall tweets, and I tried to Storify them. The problem that I struggle with is that you can only do 20 at a time.
Oh,
so
okay.
It's like, you do your 20, and then you can hit more, and then there's 40, and then you do more. But it's really a pain unless you're doing it as you're going. Okay. So that's kind of a struggle. I went back and did my own, and I mean it was still a large amount because I was, trying to get the hashtag, and in fact we were trending at one point
Nice.
During the weekend, so that was cool. We figured it out because we were all getting spammed.
Yeah.
So we're like, oh, we must be trending, and then we all looked, and sure. So that was very cool. But it was, it was a lot of people just retweeting things and getting stuff moving and going, and
right.
But it was for the people who were tweeting. It was a great way to get information from the places that you weren't at.
Mm-hmm.
I just was looking in the chat room, and Matt Watchell, and I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly, said, saw a stat today which said there's still only about 5 to 10% of teachers that are on Twitter. So yeah, if you look at, say you take a conference of, 4,500, you're still only talking about a handful of folks that are going to be on. Now, let me ask you this. So when you went to the sessions, because there are other back channeling things that people are using. I know in a lot of the sessions that I do, I'll do like a today's meet or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people will tweet that out, but because that's an easy way to help people get started on back channeling. Did anybody use today's meet?
I think Nick Provenzano used today's meet, and someone else did too. But it wasn't, and they actually did it at the last conference that I was at too about a week ago. They just kind of showed it as a way that you could use it in your classroom and allow the students to be able to share information anonymously so that it's not so personal, because you can sign up as a, as an anonymous or whatever. But yeah, it was few and far between.
I usually use today's meet if I know the audience isn't really on Twitter or they're not comfortable with putting things out like that. That's when I use it.
We were at a Allen November conference earlier. I think it was last week, and we were having some fun with today's meet because you can just make yourself. I like your fingernails, Jeff.
I was just trying to show Teresa.
I didn't see him because I was looking at
and the rest of the world.
I'll box her my picture. Sorry.
I was looking at.
Because they see you talking, so they would see your face. They wouldn't have seen my nails. You wrecked that.
And I did. I wrecked
God,
it.
Pay attention to what's going on.
I thought maybe you actually were ready to drop, and you're like, fingernails out.
No, I was too busy in the chat room looking at what made Jessica nearly spit her water out, and it was Melinda saying
Joe and Melinda.
Melinda Miller said, Melinda said, I think now that Jess is principal of the year, they fixed her computer or connected it to the school instead of the gas station Wi-Fi up the street.
I did see that there was this happening that happens in the chat room where Melinda and Joe Sanfilippo can't be in at the same time. So he saw she was in. He's like, all right, I'm out of here.
He's like, oh, Melinda's here, gotta go.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
I don't even remember what I was talking about, but it was probably pretty profound. All right, we've got a case of the silly stuff. You know what, Jessica? We were so serious last week. In fact, Teresa and I got done, and we were like, "Oh my God!" Like we didn't make any jokes. We were like serious.
Oh, so what? I'm the source of all like not staying on track.
No, I think it's the chemistry of the three of us together is what does it.
And then there's some people that are poking the fire in the chat room.
I know
what to say about with today's meet. Yeah, you could just log on and say hi, Michael from South Dakota, and then you can start putting anything on there. So that's one of the downsides of today's meet. But let's talk about ASCD 14.
Well, hold on one second.
No, let's not talk about ASCD 14.
Just wait a minute. Okay, so Melinda just asked if they don't have Twitter, how do they have today's meet? So today's meet, if you don't know, it's just todaysmeet.com, and anybody can set up a chat room, and it could be for 24 hours, it could be for a week, or I think it can be forever. So all you have to do is give people the link, and anybody could get in, and they can type my name is Jessica, they can type my name is Joe. It's not like a permanent Twitter profile on there. It's just putting in a name.
I think it helps people get to the beginnings of what back channeling is. But then again, Brian in the chat room says, to what degree do you find back channeling taking your focus away from the content being shared? Like for me, I generally, if I'm going to take notes, then I wouldn't do a whole lot of tweeting or back channeling. But a lot of times I just do that to chronicle my learning. So like I think somebody else has said, like especially if you're listening to a big keynote, I think it's just easier to grab their quotes or to grab what they're talking about and throw it out. I don't know what you ladies think about
in sessions too, like Spike, you did this at your session at ASCD, like you give after you share a chunk in the session, okay, how could you use this now? Have a conversation at your table, put in the today's meet how you would use it, and it's you don't have time for everybody in the room to share, but you can all read it quickly in today's meet.
And basically our theory on that is ain't nobody got time for that.
Yeah, and I have quite a few teachers that are using today's meet, just to put that out there too. I know we're not talking about classroom use, but I have classrooms that are using it.
Yes, we do too, and also we're not there yet, but I'd love to get to the point where they're using Twitter to back channel, throughout the school.
That'd be pie in the sky, getting your kids on Twitter and using it appropriately.
Right.
Got a ways to go before we'll do that.
So
dare to dream.
Let's talk about, we're talking about right now, I was at McCall and I was following the hashtag, and I went back to the hotel room at the end of the night, and I would go back through the hashtag and look and see for, the keynote. I was volunteering during the keynote, so I didn't get to see it, but or hear it. But we had Adam Bello, who is the creator of EduClipper. Yeah. And so he was the first keynote, and then George Couros was the second keynote, and so I would go back and just go through all of the hashtags that night and just see what I missed and see what was going on, and just send some more things out. But I was at the conference. Now, there are three of us who are on camera right now that are not at ASCD at the moment. So, but some of us know some of us have an idea of what's going on at ASCD, and it is because we are following the ASCD 14 hashtag. So the reason that we decided to do this for our topic tonight was to say that, just because you can't be at the conference doesn't mean that you can't take part in it, because I know that there are a lot of, what was it, ISTE, that was the not at ISTE hashtag?
Oh
They
yeah.
had, yeah,
Not
there
an
was
ISTE.
there was the ISTE hashtag, and then there was the not at ISTE hashtag, and
Yes.
so everybody
That's
was watching the ISTE hashtags, and then when they responded to something, they were responding with not at ISTE because they weren't there.
right.
But I found both sides of it really important, because you can still, even though we're not there and we're not listening to what's happening, you can catch the hashtags, follow the conversation just like you would any other Twitter chat, and still be a part of the learning that's happening at these conferences.
I will say one of my biggest revelations came, and I don't know if it was the last year or the year before. So I was just going through the Twitter feed, and it was, I think it was NASSP, and Eric Sheninger was there, and Bob Dylan, not the singer Bob Dylan, but
He always throws me off.
I was thinking the same thing. I was like,
Dylan,
what?
yeah. I think he is at the Idea Guy. Somebody
Mhm.
please check that. But really great guy. So he tweeted out something that Eric was saying: if you don't tell your story, somebody else will. You need to be editor-in-chief of your school. And I thought that was amazing. And I continue to use that, and I always go back to saying, that was just something that I learned from somebody who was at, given a keynote that I wasn't even there. So at Idea Guy 42, Bob Dylan, I definitely recommend you to follow him. But so it's bits like that that can really help out, I think, when you're looking at that learning. So like, for instance, this weekend, so you had Daniel Pink and Sir Ken Robinson, who were the two of the big keynotes that were at ASCD 14, plus all the different, activities that were going on. So did you ladies dial in and follow some of that this weekend?
I didn't, only because we had a big regionals tournament this weekend. So I'm planning to go back and look at it later. I have been... some people have included me on some of their tweets that they knew I would be interested in. So I've seen those, and I've heard Amber Tiemann is there. So she's voxed from there and talked about the great learning and how great the weather is, but I don't want to know about that.
Yeah, we don't need to hear that.
Yeah, Amber had some really good things going on. A lot of people, because I think it was trending for a while this weekend too. Ken Robinson and Daniel Pinks. But yeah, like Aaron Klein, like we were just talking about, Josh Stumpenhorst. I saw some really cool things. He had tweeted out something that, thinking this is the school at Sir Ken Robinson is mentioning, and it's blueschool.org, where they just talked about, people doing different things. Joe Mazza, and it just seemed like it was very vibrant, the back channel. Lisa Dabbs, Amber Tiemann, just really helping us out who aren't at the conference to just try to get some, understandings. Oh, one of our former guests, Bill Sterrett, was talking a little bit about the things that were going on at ASCD. Eric Sheninger, another one who was on our show before, said there's no longer a monopoly on information, which makes moving people in a new direction more challenging, and that was via Daniel Pink. So that got out, that was retweeted 23 times, it was favored 5 times, so it's stuff like that that really gets out and helps us all learn.
Yeah. Do you, when you're following conferences, or really if you're following a chat, what tools do you use? Like, do you have a special app, or are you on your laptop? What are you guys using?
I like to use, when I'm in a even when I was at the conference, I like to use TweetChat. It's tweetchat.com, and the great thing about it is it aggregates all of the tweets that have your hashtag that you're looking for in it. They call it a room. And so it puts you in this room with all of the other, for instance, McCall 14 hashtags, and it automatically adds your hashtag to the end of your the end of your thing. So it tells you, it shows you on the bottom that you only have, for example, with the McCall 14, I think I only had 132 characters I could use. So it tells me, out of 132, and then it doesn't show it on the screen, but as soon as I send it, it adds that McCall 14 to the end with the hashtag sign.
I do love Tweet Chat for that. And also if you're in a like a live chat where it uses a QA format, what I love is they've changed it so it like highlights in yellow or orange, I think, what the new question is. So if somebody puts Q3, that's the new question, and it stands out from all of the rest of the responses, so you realize, okay, now we're on the next question. So that's really great if you're in a scheduled chat.
That is good. I didn't realize they did that.
That's new. Like, that's been in the past few months that they've updated that.
Very cool.
Yeah.
My superintendent and assistant superintendent were there this weekend, and one of the things they did was they just shared their Google Notes with me too. So as they're going through, they were not back channeling because I think, like as somebody else was saying, they were probably there, taking notes. So they just shared the notes with me, which is good because I've been to a lot of conferences with them. So it's I can understand what they're saying and look at some of the things that they're talking about. I don't know if you guys have gotten into that, but I think that would be another neat opportunity too. And then you can actually have everyone, just kind of share in on your notes if you needed to.
Now, one of my favorite Twitter tools, if I'm on a laptop, I don't think this is on an iPad yet, is TweetDeck, which, if you're not familiar with TweetDeck allows you to have really as many columns as you want. So, I could have the principal cast column going. I could have maybe even my favorite list going in a column, or the conference in one column, so you can see kind of everything there. That's one of my favorite tools, but I only have it on my laptop.
I think TweetDeck is on iPad, unless they've taken it off, because I used to use it on iPad, if I'm remembering right. I'm going to check right now in the App Store, but I feel like
I'm downloading it right now.
It is TweetDeck. I will tweet out the. Yep, there it is. Oh, Hold on.
No way! It's like Christmas.
Wow.
This is for. Hold on. That's for the App Store, for the Mac App Store. But I'm almost 99% it is. So I'll check it and I will tweet it if it is.
A lot of people are saying it's like Christmas that you've lasted this long. It's 10:06.
Wow.
And whoever went with the over is winning.
It's done. How is it not? I swore it was. They must be not.
I've never seen TweetDeck on the iPad.
Can you do TweetDeck via the
Chrome? I bet you could in Chrome.
That's what I thought. Oh, Peggy says it's browser based. So, because I was going to say, no, I've used it. So just pull it up in your Chrome.
Okay.
There you go.
Thank you all. You just made my day.
There you go.
How do you? I'm having my own issue right now on Chrome, but that's okay. Keep going.
As long as you're not freezing, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's not go down that road.
That's right. Let's look at the positive.
Right.
Oh, and Peggy says that Tweet Chat automatically adds the hashtag. Craig Yen says he just lost Jessica's audio, but it's probably just him. And Joe Sanfilippo says he bet the under. Darn.
What? You all can hear me, right?
Yes, I think it's okay.
I've been in the whole time.
Craig also said he likes the sharing of Google Notes. I like the Super Docs where there's a master note taking doc for all the sessions, which is pretty cool.
Oh,
and Melinda says our admin team shared Google Docs for each presentation we attended at ISTE last year.
Nice.
John Rokenbrod, I think that's how you say his name, and I apologize if I butchered it. He said, doesn't the new iOS app for Twitter also add the hashtag automatically if you swipe a screen or two to the left and then search for the hashtag? Has anybody tried that?
Oh, that's new if it does.
Yeah.
Another thing I saw.
Yeah, Melinda says it does.
I saw back earlier. I just want to go back into. In fact, the people in my PLC, the chairs in my PLCs are starting to use this Padlet, which is really cool. And it looks like Jessica, you said you love Padlet. How are you using it, or how are your teachers using Padlet?
Again, that has just been used at times when gathering ideas, or a chance to try and get as many ideas out without all of us sharing. And teachers have used that in their classrooms too. I'm trying to think. One of our XPD sessions was a book study where they met 3 different times, and they used that for ongoing conversation in between meetings for it.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's easy to set up ahead of time if you know you're going to use something like that and get a link. and I don't know, customize it or make a QR code for your students or something. Okay, I cannot figure out how to do what John just shared or whoever on the Twitter app on the iPad of how you, what did he say? If you swipe screen or two to the left.
How to.
Well, Melinda is usually my personal tech support for issues lately this past week, so I have to, and that's because I've been not calling Jeff since he's got like 3 babies. I thought he was a little busy. All right. Well, I'll have Melinda coach me later on that.
Padlet used to be Wall Wisher, actually.
Yes.
Chris Nessie said.
Yes, I do remember that.
Did not know that. I like it. I thought it was a pretty cool way of, of being able to collect ideas together, but haven't used it on a large scale.
Mm-hmm. Just really quickly before we continue, I just want to remind you that Storyboard That is used by teachers across all subjects to teach grammar, practice a foreign language, write a short story, and do analyses on books, and that all of our loyal listeners can enjoy 25% off of Storyboard That by going to storyboardthat.com/teachercast, and we thank them for their support of TeacherCast and PrincipalCast.
So one of the other things that we were talking about is that you can't be everywhere, and how do you get PD are the Twitter chats. So there's a big list, a very growing long list, which is really cool. And I think somebody was telling me it's in every state now of the Twitter chats. Just about. Did you tweet that out,
I
Teresa?
did.
Yeah,
I did, and I'll send it again.
Yeah. So
yeah, go ahead. I was interrupting.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well,
I like purple.
I like purple.
I like purple.
Great, we'll get along. So I think, Teresa, you chatted out. Oh gosh, this is why you guys got stuff done last week when I wasn't here. The link is to Cyberman's Twitter hashtags, and then if you click on the top, you can get the schedule of weekly Twitter chats. So you can look okay, I'm free at Tuesday at 8 o'clock, what's going on? And there are way more chats scheduled than I could even have imagined.
Oh, yeah.
I just heard an echo of myself. There's an Algebra 2 chat. I didn't know that. I mean, there's everything. You can just check that schedule. And I think we are almost to every state having their own chat, which is really awesome.
Yeah, I started out with NJ Ed. We were, and then sometimes I'll check in on that, but sometimes that doesn't work when I'm putting my kids to bed. But I definitely recommend you start taking a look at your at your state, and then there's a lot of of course the big ones like Ed Chat, Ed Chatterai was trending earlier. Some really good
Chat
ones.
Saturday morning Sat Chat is really good.
And Sun Chat now is actually on Sundays is actually getting.
Is it the same topic? Is it the same?
No,
is it leadership?
It's not the same. It's different people.
Just Ed Chat. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So.
Whisk Chat for Wisconsin is on Sunday nights. It is at 8 now. I thought they were at 7 for a while. For a while, I could never join because my kids were going to bed, but maybe that's changed. Edu Coach, I have to give a plug for that on Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. And starting this week, we are going to be discussing Eric Scheininger's new book, Digital Leadership. So we'll be reading chapters 1 and 2 and chatting about it on Wednesday night if you'd like to join us.
Oh, very cool.
That's great.
Let's get to chapter 3. I heard that there's this guy they mentioned in chapter 3.
We're going to skip chapter 3. We heard it's not that great.
Yeah, it's actually trending. It's really when they rank them now on Google Docs, because he's doing these chats. It's the last one, I think.
They actually cut it out before they published it.
Yeah, that copy I got
they didn't publish that one.
Yeah, that was a special copy.
So for our listeners who don't know, chapter 3 is about Spike Cook. So it's pretty exciting. He's famous.
Yeah, right. Not as famous as the purplicious elementary principal.
Purplicious, prolific Jessica
from the great
so
state
much
of
crap
Wisconsin.
to live down.
Wisconsin.
Oh my gosh.
There are there's all these. There's Matt Watchell says he loves ATPLC, which is a great chat focusing on PLCs, Thursday nights at 9 Eastern. I would love to throw out a a heads up for the Mish Ed Chat, which is on Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. And what other really big
You know
ones?
which one? You know what I'm starting to get into is augmented reality, and there is a really cool hashtag AR4EDU. I'm sorry, for Ed. I don't even see that on there, but there's a couple augmented reality hashtags that I'm following now.
Okay, so I'm copying a few things into the doc because these people are talking
Oh, good.
fast. Okay, so Matt asks, do any of your districts recognize Twitter chats as PD hours? And that's a definite no in mine, unfortunately. But I wonder if any districts have gone that direction.
Well, Melinda said Melinda actually posted in here, I couldn't figure out what she was talking about, but now I understand. She said if her teachers tweet at least once, she gives them credit.
Wow.
Wow. See, we don't have that kind of leverage, I guess. But good Lord, if it were for credit, I would have like several doctorates by now.
Well, you know, with we're doing McCrell as our teacher evaluation model, and I haven't done any because it's not the end of the year. This is our first year doing it, but that's a really good question that I wonder, because you can use things to verify that you're doing certain aspects of the rubric. So that's something that I'll look into, because if somebody were to give me a link to their Twitter feed, verifying that this is what they've done, then I could accept that as a as an example.
Mm-hmm. Another Twitter, couple more Twitter chats. Matt tweeted out All Things PLC, which is ATPLC. Love that one. I never can make it though. And then also Culture of Learning chat on Mondays at 9 Eastern Standard Time. It's COL chat. And then John shared the idea. He says, we used Padlet for a faculty meeting to share pros and cons of something we recently tried at school. The teachers picked it up pretty quickly and really liked sharing, even anonymously. And then at the end, he was able to share a summary link of the comments with all of the staff. Yeah,